for that. But you know what really boiled me up properly was Haaland's coward's move, bro. I saw it this morning properly. Throwing the ball in Gabby's head when he's not looking.
Football rivalries can get intense, but none are quite like the explosive battle between Manchester City and Arsenal. These two clubs aren't just battling for points. Every time they meet, it's personal. Titles, pride and respect are all on the line. The rivalry between City and Arsenal is fierce, but their latest encounter took things to a whole new level. This time, Erling Haaland, City's unstoppable striker, did something that shocked everyone. He hit Arsenal's Gabriel right in the head with the ball. But what happened next? Stick around, because what followed left fans and pundits in disbelief. But this match, right from the start, you could feel the tension in the air. The Etihad Stadium was buzzing. The fans, the players, even the managers on the touchline, everyone knew the significance of this match. On one side, you had Manchester City, the reigning champions, a well-oiled machine under Pep Guardiola, chasing yet another title. On the other side, Arsenal, under the guidance of Mikel Arteta, looking to make a statement and prove they could go head-to-head with the best. And then, of course, there was Erling Haaland, City's goal-scoring machine. Every time he's on the pitch, defenders know they're in for a tough night. He's quick, strong, and ruthless in front of goal, and it didn't take long for him to make his presence felt in this match. Just 9 minutes into the game, Haaland found the back of the net. After a slick move down the right-hand side, the ball was whipped into the box, and there was Haaland, as always, in the right place at the right time. He didn't waste the opportunity. With one swift touch, he fired the ball past the Arsenal goalkeeper, giving City an early lead. But this wasn't just any goal. It was Haaland's 100th goal for Manchester City, a milestone that only a few elite players ever reach in their careers. The Etihad Stadium erupted in celebration. It looked like City was in complete control. With Haaland on fire, the match seemed to be following the same script we've seen many times before. City dominates, and their opponents crumble under the pressure, but Arsenal had different ideas. Despite going behind so early, Arsenal didn't panic. They regrouped and started to push back. Arteta's men showed their resilience, something that has become a hallmark of this Arsenal side. They began to take control of possession, building their attacks carefully, and slowly started to find gaps in City's defence. And then, in the 22nd minute, Arsenal got their breakthrough. Riccardo Calafiori, Arsenal's attacking left-back, fired a powerful shot that took everyone by surprise. The ball zipped past the City defence and into the net. Arsenal had equalised. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the stadium shifted. City looked shaken, and Arsenal was growing in confidence. From that moment on, Arsenal took control of the game. Their passes were crisp, their movement sharp, and they started to cause real problems for City's defence. Haaland, who had been so dominant in the opening stages, began to struggle to find space as Arsenal tightened up at the back. Just before half-time, Arsenal's hard work paid off again. In the 45th minute, a well-placed corner found the towering figure of Gabriel in the box. He rose above the City defenders and powered a header into the back of the net. Arsenal had taken the lead, and the Etihad was stunned into silence. The Gunners had turned the game around, and City was left searching for answers. But just when it looked like Arsenal was going to go into half-time with a deserved lead, disaster struck. Leandro Trossard, who had already been bucked earlier in the match, lunged into a challenge that left the referee with no choice. Trossard was shown a second yellow card and was sent off. Arsenal was now down to 10 men, and with an entire half still to play, the balance of power shifted back to City. But no one could have predicted what would happen next. What followed was a story of pure defensive resilience. Facing the relentless attack of Manchester City, Mikel Arteta's side knew they were in for a difficult second half. Arsenal had taken the lead through Gabriel's header, but holding on to it for 45 more minutes against the champions was going to be an uphill battle. City pushed forward relentlessly, controlling the majority of possession and constantly probing Arsenal's defensive setup. Every cross, shot and corner was met with resistance as Gabriel, William Saliba and the rest of the Arsenal defence dug deep. Their organisation and tactical discipline were on full display as City struggled to create clear-cut opportunities. Meanwhile, Erling Haaland, who had scored early in the match, was increasingly frustrated by the lack of space he was given. Arsenal had successfully marked him out of the game, with Gabriel playing a particularly crucial role in neutralising the Norwegian striker. Despite City's dominance, they found it difficult to break down Arsenal's wall. As the clock ticked on, Manchester City's pressure mounted. David Raya, Arsenal's goalkeeper, made several critical saves to keep his side in the lead. He denied attempts from the likes of Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden, standing as the last line of defence for a team that was pinned deep in their own half. Despite the pressure, it seemed as if Arsenal might pull off a heroic defensive performance, but as time wore on, it became clear that City wouldn't go down without a fight. The home crowd was getting restless, and the players knew they needed something special to break Arsenal's resistance. In the 98th minute, Manchester City won a corner. It was their last chance to salvage something from the match. The corner was swung into the box, and amidst the chaos, John Stones rose above the defenders and smashed the ball into the back of the net. The Etihad Stadium erupted in celebration. City had snatched a dramatic equalizer at the death, preventing Arsenal from walking away with all 3 points. For Arsenal, it was heartbreak. They had defended valiantly with 10 men, only to be undone in the dying moments of the match. But the drama didn't end with the equalizer. After Stone's equalizer, tensions reached a boiling point. In a moment of frustration, Erling Haaland picked up the ball and threw it directly at Gabriel's head. This sparked an instant reaction from the Arsenal defender, who angrily confronted Haaland. The two players squared off, and for a moment it looked as though things might escalate further. Teammates from both sides rushed in to separate the two players, and the referee quickly intervened to calm the situation. While many expected a harsher punishment for Haaland, VAR reviewed the incident and deemed it not severe enough for a red card, sparing him from further repercussions. But Haaland's frustration didn't stop with Gabriel. Cameras caught him directing his anger at Arsenal's bench, particularly towards Mikel Arteta. In the heat of the moment, Haaland was heard shouting, "Stay humble," towards the Arsenal manager. The comment went viral almost immediately, fueling the post-match discussion and adding another layer of intensity to the already fierce rivalry between the two sides. Arteta, who had been Guardiola's assistant at City before taking over at Arsenal, did not respond publicly on the pitch, but his expression said it all. This rivalry, already fueled by the growing competition between the two clubs, had now become deeply personal. From the first whistle, Arsenal's game plan had been clear: stop Haaland at all costs. Gabriel and Saliba stuck to Haaland throughout the match, denying him space and minimising his influence. For a player used to dictating play with his physicality and goal-scoring prowess, this was a frustrating experience. As the minutes passed and City struggled to find the equalizer, Haaland's frustration grew. By the time Stones scored, it had reached its breaking point, leading to his outburst against Gabriel and the verbal exchange with Arteta. As the final whistle blew, the fallout from Haaland's actions was immediate. Fans and pundits alike took to social media, debating whether his actions were justified or a moment of immaturity. Some praised his passion, while others criticised him for losing control. For Arsenal, despite the disappointment of conceding so late, their performance, especially their defensive resilience, was something to build on. Arteta's men had shown they could compete with City, even with 10 men. As for City, the draw kept them in the title race, but the emotional clash between Haaland, Gabriel and Arteta was the lasting memory. This rivalry had been taken to a new level, and the next time these two teams meet, the stakes will be even higher. Despite the frustration, Erling Haaland remains focused on winning. This result keeps City in the race for the Premier League title, and you can be sure Haaland will be eager for revenge the next time he faces Arsenal. For Arsenal, this was a performance that showed they can compete with the best. Arteta will have his squad ready for the next encounter, knowing that the rivalry between these two sides is far from over. When City and Arsenal meet again, it's bound to be another thrilling chapter in this growing saga.